So today we're going to be checking out a brand new fragrance from the House of Amouage. This one is from their new collection they just launched, and this one is called Enclave. So this was an interesting one for me, and I'm going to go ahead and go in depth with this one. I'm going to tell you how it smells, how it performs when you can wear it, and ultimately if I think this one is worth picking up. And I do want to let you know this fragrance was provided to me by Twisted Lily, which is a niche fragrance boutique, really is the best way to put it. They stock a lot of Amouage, Mancera, Roja parfums, and some harder to find niche fragrances. They just make it a great all-in-one place to grab some of these. And what's cool is I do have a discount code with them. You can use my code CHAOS10. That will get you 10% off of your orders over there on their website. So anything you buy, you can save 10% on, meaning you can grab this fragrance at a nice little discount. That link will be down below along with my code. So if you want to do any shopping over there, make sure you take advantage of that. And just so you know, that code is always live. It's always active. So at any time, if you're doing some shopping over there, remember in the back of your head, okay, CHAOS10 saves me 10% off everything. That's good info to have. And also, if you like fragrance videos like this, make sure you get subscribed to the channel down below. I really do appreciate your support. Let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right into how this fragrance smells. Now, when I first sprayed this one on, what I noticed right away was a couple of things. One, that it had this nice freshness up top, a little bit of a minty blast in the opening. So that is one of the notes that I get up top. And also, primarily, is that it reminded me of something. And at first, I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And this was before I'd even really looked at the notes. They sent it out, and I just opened it up and checked it out. I didn't really do too much research on this fragrance beforehand. So, kind of sprayed it on. I'm like, okay, this reminds me of something. And at first, I'll be honest with you, I'll be upfront with you like I always am. Wasn't really my thing right off the bat. It was reminding me of something, but it was also a bit different. And I was like, okay, I'm going to have to kind of sit on this one and think about it a little bit and test it more. And so that's what I've been doing. I've had this fragrance for a few weeks now at this point, probably closer to a month. And now I'm just around getting to the review because I've had time to test it and fully kind of really experience the scent, which is what I needed to do. So it opens up with that mint, and I find overall this fragrance starts off a bit aromatic and has a bit of a green quality coming from the mint and also from the patchouli in here. And what you'll also notice when you look at the notes is there's this note called Amber Extreme. So I haven't done too much looking into with that new note other than obviously knowing that it is kind of a amber, kind of powdery, kind of almost to me a bit musky, that type of note. And I do get quite a bit of it from this fragrance. It is primarily kind of an ambery forward fragrance with a bit of a powderiness as well. Bit of a spicy cardamom kick in the opening along with that mint, which is a nice combination. Working into the mid, you get some of that patchouli, you get a little bit of vetiver. I also get a little bit of rose in the mid as well, kind of from the mid carrying into the dry down. That rose is not too prominent, but it is there, and it's got to be one of those things where you have to like a bit of a floral touch to be able to fully enjoy this scent, which is something that not everyone's going to be a big fan of. And now to go ahead and talk about what this fragrance reminds me of. Again, I got a similarity to something right in the beginning when I first tried it. I just didn't know what it was. After more testing and more testing and more testing, I kind of came around to the fact that it kind of reminds me a little bit of this one, Creation E by Roja Parfums. Now, it's really weird because this fragrance doesn't have any tobacco, doesn't have any boozy notes. It doesn't have just the same type of composition that this one has, but smelling them side by side, there is a striking similarity to me, just in a bit of a different way. Obviously, Enclave being more of a green, aromatic, kind of leaning scent with a bit more of a fresh kick in the opening. Even seeing the bottle here, the bottle's a pretty great representation of the scent. Nice little green gem on the cap there, which is a nice touch that these bottles do have. So pretty good bottle here for the scent itself. And then of course you have something like Enigma, completely different coloration here, this kind of brown and gold, just luxurious looking scent with that nice booziness. So you would think on paper they'd be in completely different leagues, but there is a little bit of a similarity to me. And again, not so much so to where I got it right away, otherwise I would have picked up on it right away because this is one of my favorites from Roja, but it took me a little bit of time to where I'm like, you know what, there's certain facets and aspects about Enclave that do remind me a bit of Creation E, and it's partly that we're getting that nice amber, musky, slightly powderiness from this scent, and also that fresh counterbalance is something you get from Creation E. This one has the tendency to be compared to something like a Coca-Cola or a soda because it's got this bright fizziness, so that's kind of what it reminds me of to some extent. However, I just want to be very clear with you that this is not a Creation E alternative. It is not a clone by any stretch, and not even an alternative to me. If you want something like Creation E, you're going to have to look at Creation E or explore some of the clone options that are out there. This one is still quite a bit different to where, you know, I wouldn't wear this in replace of Creation E. It's a great smelling scent, but I still kind of would like to look at them as being more or less more different than similar, because that's kind of how I see it. So let's go and talk about when you can wear this one. For me, it's a really nice fall and winter leaning fragrance. So definitely for the cooler months there, it's got a bit of that green quality, that patchouli, that mint, so where you can maybe wear it in the springtime, a green spring scent for spring, obviously, but for me, kind of more of those cooler months like we're getting into right now. And in terms of in terms of situations in these cooler months, I would say it could be kind of an okay evening out scent, but also really a good daytime scent. I see quite a bit of versatility out of this scent, and as I've been testing it, it's been one where I've been able to wear for a lot of different situations. So it's definitely going to be one of your more versatile niche fragrances out there, and definitely more versatile than some of other Amouage fragrances, such as like Interlude, for example, which is a very, very strong scent. Now this one's going to have a lot more wearability, and you'll be able to use it in a lot more situations. Performance has also been great on my skin. 8-9+ hours longevity and solid projection as well, so it's no slouch. It's a good performer. It is an eau de parfum, so you are getting great performance out of it. And really, across the board, Amouage performs good on my skin, and this one is no exception either. Wouldn't really change anything about it. It really does a good job of getting you noticed and pushing out and lasting on your skin. And of course, compliment factor is going to be decent on this one. It's one of those things where you are talking about a niche luxury product, and with that comes a bit more of an artistic standpoint, you know, an artistic kind of touch to the scent, and because of that, you're going to put some people off with this one. That's just kind of the risk you run when you're talking about a niche product. And it's even the same with Creation E. You know, there's going to be some people who are more into the freshies and not so much into a boozy, warm scent, and it's going to be kind of the same thing here, although this one is a bit more fresh and green than Creation E, so that kind of may help a little bit. It's going to be one that will get you the compliment now and then, but it's not going to be anything that's going to be raking them in like, you know, your average blue fragrance. Quality is fantastic on this one, no complaints there, like all Amouage that I've owned and that I've smelled. Quality has been great, very smooth, well blended, well executed, and it's not anything I would change with that either. So to go ahead and wrap it up with this one, my final thoughts on Enclave. It's quite nice. Again, at first I wasn't the biggest fan of it, and I was kind of racking my brain trying to figure out what it reminded me of. And as I came around to it, I'm like, okay, it does have a bit of a Creation E type of smell, just done in a completely different way, which is pretty interesting. And as I've been testing it more, it's one where I do enjoy now. You know, again, it's not a Creation E alternative or clone by any means. There's just some similarities here and there. So make sure you know that going into this one. But if you do like Creation E by Roja Parfums, there's a pretty strong chance you're going to at least, you know, tolerate this one, right? If you're not a fan of Creation E, you may want to sample this one first because there's some similarities, but you may also like it as well because it's a bit more green and aromatic. So that's going to do it for me, guys. That's my thoughts on Amouage Enclave. Let me know what you think down below. And remember, if you want to pick it up over at Twisted Lily, use that link down there. Use my code CHAOS10 for 10% off, and I'll save you some money there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.